Edwin in Tom and Edwin's Excellent Adventure. We're still here. We've survived.
We're not in the same establishment. We're not still here like we've been here for days at a time.
Yeah, we're just taking a little pit stop and getting some drink and food for the soul. And as we sort of wrap up these webisodes, Tom, we've been talking about marketing, logos, names, calling, background, things to think about when you're starting a new worshiping community. And I commented with you, I was commenting to you that many of our viewers, including myself, are still like, wow, we've got all this great information, but when I end up in Wilmington, or I end up in anywhere USA, or anywhere in the world, what do I, when I hit the ground, what do I begin doing? Besides saying ouch.
I think you say ouch. Practically and spiritually, I think you start with a prayer. You know, that you're open to God's presence and God's guidance and the guidance of the Spirit. When that prayer ends, I think the first thing you do is make sure that you are up to speed on what is the social media of the day. And I don't pick particular ones right now because it changes so quickly, but I think you need to do Facebook, I think you need to do LinkedIn, I think you ought to do Twitter, I think you ought to know about Instagram, et cetera, et cetera.
So it's like learning the language of the time and the culture of the time and adapting to it, figuring out what that is and adapting.
Absolutely, and the simple reality is that my guess is the target population you'll be going after, that's what's normative for them from a communication standpoint.
Yes.
So, you know, you speak that language. It also allows you to communicate more information to more people more effectively than any other means. So, excuse me, I would start with social media. I think the second thing I do would be to write down what you remember from this experience and what you and Ken and I in these episodes and in our meetings have talked about. That's Kenny. Write down what you remember. Stuff will go by the wayside if there's not a means or a mechanism for you to keep it alive. So write down what you know. The third thing is think about Wilmington. At this point in time, you've been there a number of times, you've done some of your research, you've had a lot of conversations with other people. What need, do you feel like exists in the community that you have the unique ability to meet? Okay. Next, put that in a succinct statement. Be able to articulate what need you meet and what value that provides to the people whom you're reaching out to. And take that sort of value proposition or that statement of needs and go to friends whom you know there and people whom you trust, and you're so blessed to have those folks, and say, here's my vision. Might be a little blurry right now, but what do you think? Does it meet a need? Does this need exist in Wilmington? Can you see me doing this? Why do you think it'll work? Why do you think it won't work? Should I continue to pursue it? And listen to them, because those are people who know the community and they know you. And they could be one of the greatest gifts that you can have. And you also have the challenge of going into Wilmington pretty fresh, pretty new, not a great sense of the community. You're going to have to trust your friends, otherwise you're going to spend a long time trying to get to know that town. So,
and it also sounds like you're saying be able to articulate what I'm doing and what I'm about in a pretty succinct statement.
Yep. Yep. So that, I think, was fourth. Fifth, I think it's essential that you establish a web presence as soon as possible. And I don't think any of us can think of a business or a church or a worshiping community or anything else that doesn't have some sort of presence on the internet. And I think that's even a simple page that says the Reverend Edwin Estevez, and include as many connection points as you can muster up on that one page beyond the picture. And have that page include, grew up in New Jersey, loves music, plays in a band, Mylan and the Sour Goat. I'm a percussionist. Grew up in a Hispanic church. My family's from Guatemala. I lived in Guatemala. I just finished a 2-year residency at Fourth Presbyterian Church in Chicago. I'm starting a new worshiping community. All these different potential connection points. So when someone reads it, they go, oh, well, wait, I'm from that same town in New Jersey. Well, wow, we started something new, et cetera, et cetera. So establish that web presence as soon as you can. I also think that you should, on that website, provide links to these video episodes. The reason we did them, there's 2 reasons we put these together. One is for the Center for Innovative Ministry, because we want to work with and reach out to other people like you who are starting worshiping communities. But the other reason is so people can get to know you. And if they meet you, someone meets you at a coffee shop, for example, you give them a business card, okay? And they go back home and they go to your website and they click the link to one of the YouTube videos. They get to know you. They see your face, they hear your voice, they hear your story, they hear your laughter. They try to disregard some of the ridiculous comments you make on occasion. But they get to see the authentic Edwin.
Yeah.
It's far more likely that they're going to step inside the chapel that you rent for your worship service, or the pavilion that you go to, or wherever it is you meet. Okay? So establish your website, get links to what we've done here. Also, get business cards, as I mentioned, your name, your phone number, your web address, and an email.
Connection points, another connection point.
Yep, and pass those out like crazy. If your experience is like mine, and you end up having a long-term ministry in Wilmington, excuse me, there will be people that will surprise the heck out of you. They spend 6 or 7 years saying, oh, I'm going to come to worship, or I'm going to see you in church, I'll be there, and they never show up. And then the day comes, because you planted that seed, that they do show up, because something important in their life has changed. So in a big way, just as the Presbytery exec mentioned, you're planting seeds for the future. You're kind of a gardener, and those business cards are seeds. Also, you want to capture as many email addresses as possible. Those are like gold. You may have Will Minster, whom we spoke with from the downtown group, the Main Street group in Wilmington. You may have his email address and include his information. He might never show up in church, but you know what? His daughter might, or someone else. So the greater presence that you can establish with as many people as possible, the better. Last thought, Edwin, is maximize your strengths. So, as Ken and I have shared with you, your strengths are primarily in who you are as a person, your relational skills. People like to be with you. You're a fun guy most of the time. Thanks, Kenny. Build on those strengths. I know that there's going to be times when you're going to need to retreat and want to retreat. Do that. But use your time being with the people. You're not going to meet anybody sitting in the office. Get out there and get to know folks and build on the strengths with which God has blessed you. And at the end of the day, just as you start the day, say a prayer, because the folks in Wilmington and the supporting churches have blessed you with an awesome opportunity. And Kenny and I will keep you in our prayers too.
Appreciate that, Tom, and I like that you left us off with some wisdom from Indiana Jones. You won't learn much about the world reading books, so get out there and experience it.
Did he say that?
Not exactly, something like it, but it's a frequent theme in the movies. Tom,
thanks, brother.
Thanks a lot for your support, and hope to stay connected. Thanks, and thanks to our viewers.
And video dude.
Yeah. And thanks to our viewers who have put up with us this long.
My mom's bridge club.
Hope you've
relatives.
Hope you've been able to learn something and maybe get connected to the Center for Innovative Ministry. That website will be connected to this somehow for you to reach out and get some more resources and hopefully develop a relationship with you and get the same support I've received. And for that, I'm very grateful. So
Good luck, brother.
Until we meet again. Maybe we'll have some follow-up to see in 6 months or a year how things are going. You never
Sounds
know.
like a plan.
It's my plug. Till next time.